What is up, guys? State of Skol is live on your screens and in your ears. And we are ready to preview the Broncos game. It's your boy Age, and then I got Josh with me. Josh, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I'm excited. Vikings football. Gonna be a good week. Vikings country. Let's ride.
Vikings country, let's ride indeed. And I know we've got a lot of the Vikings faithful going out to Denver this weekend. If you're heading out there, have some fun, get loud for us. I wish so badly that I was going. That was one of the ones that I circled, and then, yeah, things just didn't work out. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, y'all have fun because Mile High is a sweet stadium. I've heard.
yeah. I've heard the same thing. I haven't been out there yet, but that's kind of like you said. That's one of mine that I want to get to eventually.
And it's tough because with those AFC teams, you only go to those areas like once. I think it's like once or in every 8 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tough one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, the chances to go are slim. Kind of like we went to Vegas. I think it was last year. Out there in Vegas. So yeah, those opportunities are few and far between. So you got to jump on them when you can.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be back out there in Vegas in another month. The Vikings will, and that one I was like, yes, I'm going. And then it was like, flights are $1,000. So, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
So, before we get into it here, I want to tell you about our friends at Underdog Fantasy. This podcast is presented by Underdog Fantasy. They help us out with everything. And guys, if you're not on Underdog Fantasy, you need to get in on this stuff. Underdog Fantasy in a pick'em game. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy to use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. Use the code 10K and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog Fantasy. Now tonight we have a interesting game. Finally, a good game on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. The Bengals play the Ravens. So, I mean, it's going to be a huge matchup for the AFC North. And I think we've got a little bit of grease going, Josh, don't we?
Yeah. This game could be interesting, man. The Bengals they're mad. They're fiery. They lost a close one last week to Houston. So I expect them to come out firing. And the Ravens have been on a roll. They're a hot team. So this one could be low scoring, or this one could be a 40-point shootout.
Yeah, I think I saw the over under for tonight is like 46 and a half, if
Dang.
I'm not mistaken, which that seems like dangerously low
Yeah.
for two good teams like that. I mean, they do have two good defenses, but usually in a game like that, points kind of win. So
Right.
44 and a half is the over under.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I think I would
Over.
be willing to take the over on that one for sure.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple entries tonight. I'll go over mine first. We've got Keenan Mitchell higher on rushing receiving touchdown. That's our spicy pick to get us boosted up. Kyle Hamilton higher 5.5 tackles and assists. Tyler Boyd higher than 46.5 receiving yards. And then Joe Burrow higher than 260.5 passing yards. So that's a little 4-man grease. 5 to pay 75 with that spicy pick of Mitchell. He scored the last couple weeks. He's the hot rookie. So that's what I'm rolling with tonight. Josh, what
Nice.
about you?
So, I wonder if you might have put your bet in a little too early. I had a little special. There's a special on Joe Burrow over under point 0.5 yards.
Oh, God.
So I took the over on that one.
I missed
Um,
it.
I've got Jamar Chase over 80.5 receiving. I think without T. Higgins tonight, they're going to be looking to him early and often. I've got Mark Andrews over 57.5 receiving yards. Joe Mixon under 53.5 rushing. That Ravens defense is legit. I think Joe Mixon's going to have a tough night rushing the ball. And then Odell Beckham Jr. over 25.5 receiving. So we'll see.
That sounds really solid. I think the Bengals pass catchers tonight, Boyd and Chase, are going to eat them up because the Ravens don't have Marlon Humphrey. And even when Marlon Humphrey's played, Jamar Chase has owned him. So
Yep.
it's going to be a good game tonight. I mean, Lamar, the Ravens have been balling out. They lost a weird one last week to the Browns. The Bengals also lost a weird one to the Texans. So I mean, this is going to be a very airtight matchup because this goes a long way, and that division is so good. Even the Steelers right now are like kind of up there, which is weird because they're goofy. But
Yeah, I'm just excited for we finally have a good Thursday night football matchup. None of that Panthers and Bears shit. We finally have two good teams. So I'm hoping this one is a high scoring game.
yeah, I think it will be for sure if you're in a state where legal sports transactions are good. Bang the over. What a concept, right? To be able to.
Yeah.
All right, but we'll move on here to the game. So the Vikings played their first Sunday night football game of the season when we head out to Denver to play the Broncos. The Vikings are sitting at 6-4. Broncos are at 5-4. The Broncos are favored by 2.5. Got to favor the home team. And, we're hot, but they are hot too. They've won the last couple and they've knocked off the Chiefs before their bye. And then they went into Buffalo and gave them a run for their money. And that game was weird, but sometimes you got to win the weird ones. So,
Yeah.
Josh, how you feeling about this weekend?
I don't know, to be honest with you. The Broncos are an interesting team. Just kind of numbers wise, we'll kind of look at their defense a little bit. They've given up the third most yards, the fifth most points, but they have the third most takeaways at 16, and they've also given up the most rushing yards in the league. So stats wise, numbers wise, they don't look that good. But like you said, they've won 3 in a row. Any NFL team, any given Sunday can win a game. So I think it's going to come down to the fundamentals. I think we're going to have to run the ball well and just grind this one out.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about some of those stats. When you get 70 put on you in South Florida, that's a little tough. And it looks like early on they were just toast, like cooked. What the hell's going on? Russell Wilson, sell him, blah, 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 eat the cap. Sean Payton, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then they've found a way to come back now in these past couple of weeks. And it's not like you got to beat whoever you got in front of you, but they've beaten the two top teams in the AFC for so long. Like you beat the Chiefs, held them to 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold Pat Mahomes to 9 points, you deserve all the credit in the world.
Right.
And then winning a weird one against the Bills, that set it up. So now they're cooking with momentum. They're back at home. I don't know. I kind of feel weird too. Like it's not that I don't feel confident. It's just sometimes games like these where you don't really know can be really weird for the Vikings.
Right. It's like next week we play the Bears, for example. We know what the Bears are. We know what the Bears bring. We know what to expect. But the Broncos, they're just you never know. They have some playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Russell Wilson, he's been known to kill us in the past. They've got some good wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, and they've got Javonte Williams running the ball. So it's, I don't know, man. I'm confident. I'm always confident, but this one could get a little interesting.
This one could get a little interesting for sure. Our boy Mike Brown in the comments says, protect the rock. Broncos have forced 10 turnovers in their last 3 games. So, they forced 4 against the Bills, but they're just a turnover machine. They're an avalanche right now. And it's so fun to watch them struggle. But anyway, and that's something that, that was the problem early on is holy shit, we can't stop turning over the ball.
Yep.
In the last 2 weeks, we haven't had one. So I don't know if this is the week where it just comes crashing down or if we keep doing our thing. Ball security is going to be a primary focus. And it usually is in general, but when you have stats like that where they take away the ball and they can go do whatever. And Russ is cooking with magic right now. Like the numbers aren't great, but he's doing his thing.
Right. Yeah. Mr. Unlimited. He's,
Mr. Unlimited.
he hadn't been, putting up MVP numbers, but who cares? As long as you get a win, who gives a shit? They're just finding ways to win, and it's, I don't know. I don't know, man. We're gonna see. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for sure, especially because we have the fact that Justin Jefferson could hopefully return this week. Now, it's Thursday. We haven't really seen or heard anything too much really positive. So we don't really know at this moment. Maybe I'm just taking wishful thinking here. I think he was a limited practice both today and yesterday.
Mhm.
So,
Yep,
but it sounds like KJ is on track to come back, and even just having him back would be a huge boost.
for sure. For sure. Yeah. We saw last week we got worked more guys into the offense without KJ. But yeah, it'll be nice to have KJ back. I anticipate a solid week from him and another hopefully big week from our guy TJ. If TJ does get out there, hopefully he's ready to roll. He was limited today. Um, but I would think he's good to go Sunday night.
TJ's gonna go. I'm not worried about him
Yeah.
because when it comes down to it, the best tight end in the NFL, he will show everybody in a primetime stage he is him.
Yep. He is him.
So, another thing that we got to be excited about this week is Ty Chandler. We have been begging and pleading for somebody, anybody, to come into this rushing attack and make a difference for the Vikings. And thus far, we haven't seen it. And I've been the one to say, oh, maybe we're not going to see it at all. But Ty Chandler give us that little glimmer of hope. And we saw a little bit of it last week. He scores the
Hmm.
touchdown at the goal line. He has the big run that gets called back of a weird holding. But,
Yep.
Alexander Madison, do you know? I think he's maybe close.
He was limited today. So yeah, I would think he's kind of close. If he does play, I don't anticipate him to get a full workload. I would guess Ty Chandler is going to get a bulk of that this week. And I'm fine with that. I think that's what we all want. Like you said, he showed flashes last week. He's explosive. He's quick. He can get to the edge. He hits holes hard. And yeah, I would love to see Ty Chandler getting a majority of those snaps.
Yeah, Ty Chandler, I think he's got what we've been looking for, and that's that explosive burst to get to the next level and make stuff happen.
Hmm.
Um, you know, the ball carrier vision is something that needs to come together, but hopefully we can give him those carries. And again, this is going to be another week where we can get the playbook rolling along, and maybe we can get Dobbs working on some running stuff that's not him running for his life trying to make something
Hmm.
happen, like design run plays to use his mobility and set things up.
Yep. Yep, definitely. I like the Ty Chandler touchdown last week with that little motion Dobbs out into a wildcat type of thing. So yeah, there's the option for type of read option plays are there. So I'm hoping they can open the playbook a little more this week.
And you know what? I love that we have KOC because forever it would be stuff like that where teams will pull that against us, like the Wildcats and the
Hmm.
fake punts that work so beautifully. And I'd be like, gosh, why can't we do shit like that?
Yep.
And now we finally can.
Hmm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
KOC.
Yeah. KOC is I love that guy. I don't know about you, AJ, but every week after a win, I look forward to the video that gets thrown out there of him in the locker
The
room
best.
tossing out game balls. That guy could make me run through a brick wall. He could.
You know what?
Yeah.
People say that about PJ Fleck. I would run through a brick wall for Kevin O'Connell.
Oh,
I wouldn't do that for the other guy, but I would for KOC.
no
Because
doubt.
goddamn, I love those videos, by the way. Like, those are the best, especially last year when we were winning all those games and like just the energy and the way that he commands the room. It's amazing. I love that
Yep.
we have such a great and creative head coach that
Mhm.
people respect and mess with.
Yeah. I think it was a much needed locker room change. I don't want to bag on Mike Zimmer because I think he was a good head coach too. But yeah, this KOC guy he's special. I think he's going to be around for quite a while if he keeps this up.
I think so too. I mean, the start was great, 13-4. Now this year, what he's done after an 0-3 start, a 1-4 start, losing Kirk and JJ. I mean, it's insane. He has to be in the running for coach of the year. I know there's other guys out there doing their thing, but you got to put KOC up there in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, I'm still pissed about last year. I think he should have been higher in that running last year.
Oh yeah.
Brian Dable, he is a mess. The Giants are a wreck. Um, yeah, I think KOC needs to be up in that conversation for sure.
God, that team is awful. And that contract to Daniel Jones looks even worse.
Yeah, yeah, and they said today that Daniel Jones will be back next year.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, Daniel Jones is terrible. And we made him look like an MVP last season, so that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
We helped him get paid. He owes the Vikings all that money. Like, we need a percentage. Because, man, I can't. That game was just disappointing. But I think this week it's looking decent. The Broncos, they're not world beaters, and especially if we get JJ back, that's going to help a lot. Like, because Pat Surtain's going to be out there. He's an excellent corner, top 3 in this league, and he shut down Diggs last week. He shut him down. So we have to worry about that if JJ comes back. But JJ kind of seems like he's been matchup proof when it comes to those corners following, at least more so than other people would be.
Yeah.
I know Packers fans might want to chime in. Get the fuck out of here with that. But, if he comes back, that's just kind of offset and let everyone else see. That lets things shine for TJ. That lets things shine for KJ. And it might be a big Jordan Addison week.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be really nice to get JJ back this week. We've seen in past weeks we don't necessarily need him, you could say. But with him in the offense, it just opens things up for everybody else. And yeah, it would be really nice to get him back this week. Prime time, let him go out there and show out, put up 150 and a touchdown on the Broncos.
Oh man, I can see it already. JJ with all the ice. I hope we're wearing all white. That would be a crazy game to wear all white. So the Broncos are wearing their Navy uniforms for my uniform nerds out there. I don't know why, but that stuff I love looking forward to the uniform shit. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good one. Sunday Night Football. And like we talked about with the Broncos offense, you touched on it earlier. They do have some playmakers. Jerry Jeudy is. There's been talk about him, but Cortland Sutton is better than a lot of people think.
Mm-hmm.
Javonte Williams is as well, and he's a dog. Like, he does not stop moving.
Yep. Javonte Williams is very Isaiah Pacheco-like. Those two just run hard and they run downhill. Those feet don't stop moving. And one other thing I did want to touch on, the Broncos have given him 30 sacks this year. That's 8th most in the league. So we're going to need a nice game out of Daniel Hunter, maybe some DJ Wanham. And I don't know, do we know if Anthony Barr, is he going to be active this week?
I wouldn't imagine, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, speaking of, we didn't even touch Anthony Barr's back.
Yeah.
I have his jersey in white. That's the only white jersey of the Vikings I've ever owned. And I wore it proudly. And then he left. And, he wasn't like, he was good, great, but he wasn't like, first round, maybe, I don't know, maybe didn't live up to the hype like everyone thought he would, but he was a great Viking. So it's going to be nice to see him back.
Yeah. He 4-time Pro Bowler. It'll be interesting to see how I can't think of our D coordinator's name now. It's going to be interesting to see how
B-Flow.
Brian Flores, B-Flow, uses Anthony Barr in the pass rush. I think he's going to be lethal, and it sucks losing Jordan Hicks. Hopefully he can get back, before the end of the season. But I'm very excited to see Anthony Barr back in purple.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks goes on to IR, so he'll miss 4 games at least. I was being told by sources within 10K, not sources, but people within 10K, that this could be maybe season ending, because something like that you don't really come back from too quickly.
Sure.
But he's also a football player, and football players tend to have, a little bit different healing genes, and they can work through stuff differently than regular human beings can. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, he comes back, because he's been huge. He's the defensive play caller. He's the guy in the middle. He has the most tackles by far on the team. So, but, like this team all year, the mentality has been next man up. What can you do for me now? Like, we're going to have to see Ivan Pace and hopefully Brian Asamoah and some of those other guys, Troy Dye maybe, step up and really fill that role. And once Anthony Barr gets rolling, I think he's going to be a great addition to this defense, just getting in late with pass rush stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, what do you have for score prediction? I got to ask, because this is our bit. I wonder what the over-under is.
Man.
Can't be crazy, right?
I really think the Joshua Dobbs train is going to keep rolling. and I don't think things are too good to be true right now. I am just a little weary that it might slow down a little bit, you know. I do think obviously the Vikings will get a win. I think we're going to expose the Broncos a little bit. I think we're going to pound the rock. I think Ty Chandler's going to have a nice game. I think he'll go for over 50 yards. I think Vikings are going to win 24-17.
All right. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm gonna go 24-20. I think it's gonna be tight. I think it's gonna be one of those games where you kind of grind it out and we fall down by a little bit, and it kind of seems like, okay, can we get stuff going? I don't think the Josh Dobbs train slows down, but I think if we have a hiccup, I would not be surprised. Like,
Yeah.
and if we lose, I wouldn't be surprised either, just because, like, they are rolling with momentum. They kind of seem to. I don't know if it has to happen at some point. It might as well happen now.
Right.
Kind of get it out the way before you go to the bye, and you can kind of roll on stuff. But I mean, hey, let's keep winning, right? Like, especially if JJ comes back, I feel so much better about this offense and moving the ball down the field, because that was the thing last week where I saw, like, he would drop back and it would be like, things are still. But he's got another week in this offense. They can get more things going. They can get more of a game plan. So I feel good. 24-20 Vikings. Let's freaking roll.
I like it. Let's ride.
Let's ride. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will be live post game right away because it's going to be late. So make sure you're at the 10K social channels, waiting with all your comments, all your grief, all your happiness. We'll take it all and we'll throw it down. For AJ and Josh, State of Skol, signing off.
See you guys.